Day one of rookie camp. What are you looking forward to?
Oh, it's an unbelievable day. First of all, just for our first step we're taking here in Utah with this organization. It's a new franchise. Everything's new about it. And you walk in and you get to see the colors and the young kids, the draft picks all wearing it, and you can see the excitement in their eyes. I think the second part about it, if you look behind us, it was a month of planning, and then they went and built it, and 4 months after that, later we have this. And it's incredible that since SCG, Ryan, and Ashley were able to put this together with the group and able to get it done. And I'll remind you too, it's a temporary facility, and it's an unbelievable facility for us. And I know that our NHL players have been in here skating and that, and you can see their excitement about the building and how fast it's moved.
What do you like about this temporary home?
There's a lot of energy, believe it or not, when you have the speed skaters, the Olympic speed skaters out there with the short track. Everybody's training to get to the Olympics. They're pushing the pace. They're elite athletes. So that's one. I think it's just the vibrant colors of the job they've done and where the rink sits. Our players get extremely excited about coming here to practice, and that's a big thing. You never want to go into your environment where you don't want to be. There's a ton of light in here. It's an exciting place to be, and you can see our players get excited from the moment they get here.
Yeah, it's kind of a tight timeline, going for the move to get into rookie camp, and then obviously opening night coming up a little bit. What kind of challenges do you face and navigating that process?
Well, the great thing about the organization is there's people for everything, and our guys like Stan Wilson, who is our trainer, has got a massive experience of this. Pat Murphy, along with Chris Armstrong, were amazing in coordinating everything and getting it done. I haven't been the one that's bared the brunt of moving everything. They have. And so they've done an incredible job behind the scenes, along with Aaron Biello and all the other people on hockey ops, of making that small adjustments and getting everybody here and getting it all set up that we're ready to go. Hockey ops to the trainers to the strength guys, it's all ready.
This still real function that they get.
It does. It does. Getting to speak to the young prospects and see, I was telling them, I'm like, coming out of that meeting, I'm like, a year ago, Gunther, Cooley, before that it was Veg Malcolm, Moser, Doan last year too. They all came into rookie camp, staring at you, and by the end of the year they're playing in the National Hockey League. And I said, there's opportunity for you, and that's real. And we started that up today. It's a great process. You can see the hunger in the eyes from the prospects.
Another look at guys like first-round picks, guys like Teach and Cole, Maverick from a year ago. What do you expect from those guys during this event?
Well, as we said, there's a component to you. Obviously, you want to see the players play well individually and take a step, from their training in the summer. Culturally, we want to fight hard. We want to, I raised the question. I said, how do you become a great organization? I said, you win your way there. That's how you do it. And it starts in rookie camp. We go in there with that thought process. We're trying to win. Our players are trying to achieve, get into the roles that we drafted them so they could show what they could do, and we go from there. But it's a process of never giving up, always fighting, and it starts on opening day.
Bill, how many years ahead do you look ahead with some of these kids? Like maybe not this year, but in 2 or 3 years, you're definitely part of the long-term plan.
Yeah, it's an interesting in hockey, because I think in basketball, for a lot of the fans here and the great Jazz fans, they're thinking, hey, those first rounders are going to be inserted right away, and that does happen once in a while, but sometimes it's 1 or 2 or 3 years out, depending on the position and the size of the player. Sometimes the longer, lanky guys. I was in the process when we drafted Tage Thompson a long time ago with the Blues. He took a long time to get there. So people think, oh my God, it takes a long time. Each player is different, but most times it's 1 to 3 to 4 years out.
Bill, you guys continue to build. I know that recently decided about going to first round checks under the radar sort of for guy Yamamoto.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about him, what you like about him?
Well, I've known him. I remember watching him when he was like 13, 14 at the development camps, for the U.S. He's a little fire plug. He's on the ice. He can cover a lot of ground. He's relentless on pucks, and he just plays the game the right way. So, we can add him. Obviously there's injuries coming up, and that happens, and we've got some games to get through in the exhibition season. And, I thought adding another player like that could give us someone that you never know where he lands. He might be able to make our team. So
other teams wanted him.
Yeah, and there's great opportunity for him here.
When is the middle report?
He'll be in Saturday, I believe. Yep.
Bill, when
Bill, personally for you as a general manager, when you woke up this morning, like knowing that today is the first day of rookie camp, like how did you feel personally waking up this morning knowing that you get to see these prospects out on the ice, and how excited you felt to get to see their development firsthand?
Well, it's kind of weird because we forget about how COVID, was like a couple of years ago and we didn't get to do this. So I never forget that feeling was when you get to wake up and actually do that. I get to be in front of your players and feel that vibe and get started and see their progress, all that hard work that they've done, our staffs have done, getting them bigger, stronger, faster. You get to see that. So it's really, it's like Christmas. You're waking up to go to work. It's not really work. It's an enjoyment, and you get excited to see the kids that you've drafted, along with the other NHL players that are filtering in.
Is there anybody that you expect to make the push for the team?
That's a great question. Doan is somebody that ended the season so well, so we're really excited to see him. I walked past it's like Cooley and Gunther and Doan, and it's funny, like they're like your kids, and you haven't seen them for a couple months, and they walk past. They're a little bit thicker, they're a little bit bigger, they got some more whiskers, they're ready to go, and they're chomping at the bit. So I think he'll be someone. You never know what Maverick Lamoureux could do at camp, but he's a big man. He had a hell of a camp last year, so he'll be pushing. And then there's always somebody coming out of nowhere, too, that's going to push, too. Maybe that's Zuber. So there's a number of guys that we're really excited about seeing it. Like I told the group when they go there, I said, like, you don't want regrets, right? You want to leave it all on the ice, so make sure you come to play. Don't walk out of this camp saying shoulda, woulda, coulda.
How do you expect this team to perform this weekend once they head out to the tournament? Take on the likes of a guy like Celebrini?
Rookie camp's always interesting because you're so competitive as a culture, as an organization. And there's two parts of it. You want to see you're competitive, you want to win. You also want to see, you might only have one or two guys that are ready that year. That's what you're getting out of there. At the end of the day, and some other guys, you're seeing some progress and you're like, hey, they're going to be a little while longer. But in the back of your mind, you're like, maybe those one or two guys are going to be really good for us in exhibition season and push. So there's two things you look for, one of the guys that are closer to being ready, you get excited that they might have some impact NHL-wise, and you like to see the progress in the other guys.
Bill, do you sense that excitement of this professional franchise that used to look? There's rumors of a baseball team. We're getting Olympics back in 10 years. The NHL team is part of that. Do you feel that excitement that Utah's hungry for these pro-level sports?
Well, I do, because I've never seen that many orange cones in my life. There's construction everywhere and expansion everywhere, and everybody's really excited in this town, how fast it's growing. And it's truly exciting. We get excited because, when we go to dinner, people are just, coming over the table. They're so excited, about the hockey, and you're hearing their stories like, hey, I was a hockey fan way back, and we can't wait to go again. We're so excited the NHL's here. So you can't, any one of our players, they're around it all day long. They're in the Uber, and the guy's just pumped, and you can't wait to get to the game. So it's contagious. And, I think from the first moment, like I always say this, we got off a plane not knowing what to expect. 30 seconds later, we almost had like tears in our eyes from the kids cheering. And then we walked into a building that was completely sold out with 4,000 people outside. I mean, it's just an unbelievable feeling. And I still get tingles thinking about the first game we're going to be able to play them.
They also bought some big camp in July until now.
Yeah.
Looking for us to be like and say the progression.
Yeah, progress. I mean, nowadays it's changed. We used to come in here and look in shape. Sometimes maybe we weren't. Where now these guys are tested with the new technology that we have. It's everything's tested. How fast you are, your bench, your what you did. You can't hide nowadays. From getting on the ice with all the technology strapped to you. It's impossible to hide. So we want to see progress. The good ones that are going to go from being a junior player to an NHL player are always making progress. I mean, I had experience, from being with the Blues back in the day, and, I'd see Colton Parayko. Every time I saw him, he was 10 pounds heavier. He was a little bit faster, he's like working on a shot. And that's a common theme for guys that are going to play in the National Hockey League. It's ticking in their brain all the time to improve and get better. And so normally when you run into them, there's always progress in some parts. And then once in a while they stall, and I got to give them a little nudge with that. So,
is there any one specific blanks of emphasis you as OG staff and players go into this candidate?
Well, I think one of the things is we're we're trying to take a step. We're the 4th year of the rebuild. It's a long time in a rebuild, and we've been able to acquire some good pieces, some exciting pieces of the Coolies, of the Gunthers of the world, and some kids that are going to come in next year. So there's a little bit of patience, that we still have to operate, and we have to get into winning the day, and that's the big thing, and getting into the process and not getting focused on too many outside distractions, about what other people think of our expectations. There's not many teams that achieve playoffs coming out of a rebuild in 4 years. I think Pittsburgh did it, but they also had a couple first-round picks like Malkin, Crosby, and Fleury were all in that realm of, so we're not there at that point, but we've got a good competitive team. We've got a lot of 20-goal scorers. We're an exciting team, and I said this earlier in one of my press conferences. You're going to come to the rink some nights, and you're going to say, oh, my God, they're going to win the Stanley Cup. And then you're going to see us on our bad nights, you're like, oh, they were bad.
So it's balancing the winning culture with a reminder that the club is still a work in progress.
Still a work in progress. And get focused on winning the day. That's a big thing for us. And if we're just winning every day and we're going in there, we're at the end of the year, we're going to be a much better team, and we're going to take a step. And that's the key to us being a focused team, not getting too carried away of too much distant stuff. Well, if we win these next few games, we're here, there. It's the battle in front of us. It's competing in that moment and driving and trying to be as good as we can in that moment and trying to winning that day. And that's a big thing for us is, I read stories about how Utah should do this and, Utah should. Those are other people's opinions. I go off the facts, There's not very many teams in a 4-year rebuild that make the playoffs.
So you had both Ian Bull and Robert's group, Portuzo,
Yeah.
in St. Louis with you.
Yeah.
You guys actually traded them for each other. I know you were from the office. How did your relationship with each of those players factor into the decision that Griffin goes up?
Well, when you're involved in the draft and you're drafting people, you're always keeping track of them. You're proud that they made these to the National Hockey League, and you get really excited. It's a little thing, but that year in the draft, we drafted Lars Eller, who went to win a championship. Drafted Ian Bull, he got 2 Stanley Cups, and we drafted Prawn. So you always keep track. They're like your kids. You never, and you're always in their life, and they always remember that. You took that chance to draft them. So bring them back, and I think it helps. I know their character. I know what they have achieved. They're both Stanley Cup champions. That we were able to get Stenlund out of that package too. That kind of firms up, and so I think that's going to enable us to take a step in the dressing room and push us through those hard times.
Great, thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.